In the heart of small-town Eldridge, a solitary clock tower has stood for nearly a century. But one night, its midnight chimes carry a message that only Detective Lila Monroe can decipher. A call that sets in motion a mystery no one expected. Detective Lila Monroe adjusted her trench coat collar as she stepped onto the fog-laden streets of Eldridge. The town's cobblestone roads gleamed under the dim street lamps, and the air carried the faint scent of rain from earlier that evening. Everything seemed quiet, almost sleepy, but Lila's instincts whispered otherwise. At exactly midnight, the clock tower in the town square tolled. Once, twice, thrice, and then, unexpectedly, it struck 13 times. Lila froze in the soft glow of the streetlight, eyes narrowing. No clock in Eldridge had ever struck 13. Something was amiss. Moments later, a young messenger approached, breathless and soaked from the mist. "Detective Monroe, a letter arrived for you at the Eldridge post office. No return address, just your name in careful script." Lila took the envelope cautiously. The handwriting was unfamiliar but elegant, curling across the envelope like ivy on old brick. Inside was a single sheet of cream-colored paper, folded neatly. "Meet me tonight by the clock tower. If you value the town's secrets, follow the chimes." Her pulse quickened. The town was small. Everyone knew everyone, and news traveled quickly. Yet here was a mystery deliberately designed for her, and her alone. She approached the square with careful steps, ears attuned to every distant sound. The clock tower loomed over the square, its face faintly illuminated in the fog. The faint hum of the wind through the stone archways carried an almost musical quality, making the silence feel alive. Lila circled the tower, flashlight cutting through the mist. Her eyes caught a subtle glimmer near the base, a small metal latch, hidden beneath creeping ivy. She crouched and discovered a narrow door, cleverly concealed. Carefully, she opened it. Inside was a spiraling staircase leading upward, each step creaking faintly under her weight. At the top, the clockworks chamber revealed itself, a maze of gears, pendulums, and brass mechanisms. And there, standing beside the massive clock face, was a figure cloaked in shadows. "Detective Monroe," the figure said, voice low and deliberate. "Thank you for coming. Time itself carries messages if one knows how to listen." Lila's eyes narrowed. The figure held an object wrapped in cloth, a small, intricate device resembling a miniature clock, but etched with symbols she didn't recognize. She instinctively reached for her notebook, knowing this was no ordinary encounter. The figure stepped closer. "What I am about to show you," the voice continued, "has been hidden for decades. It concerns Eldridge's history, a secret buried beneath the town's streets and the stories its citizens tell. You must follow carefully. One misstep and the truth will be lost forever." The wind rattled the clock tower windows as Lila nodded, her mind racing. Every instinct told her that this was the beginning of a case unlike any she had faced. The device in the figure's hands seemed to hum faintly, a rhythm in sync with the clock's ticking, almost as if the building itself were alive. The figure pulled the cloth away, revealing a delicate map etched onto thin metal, a map of Eldridge, but with locations marked that didn't exist on any official records. Lila realized immediately. Someone had been hiding parts of the town, in plain sight, for decades. And the clock tower's strange 13th chime was just the beginning. Detective Lila Monroe has a map that shouldn't exist and a clock tower that seems alive with secrets. As she follows the strange markers, she discovers that Eldridge holds hidden streets and forgotten corners, places only the brave dare explore. Detective Lila Monroe studied the metal map carefully. Etched into the thin sheet were streets and alleys she knew well, but with subtle differences. Faint lines diverged from familiar roads. Small symbols marked hidden locations, and certain buildings were circled with meticulous precision. It was a guide, but one designed for someone with patience and attention to detail. Her first step was the east wing of the town square, where the oldest cobblestones intersected near a brick wall long thought abandoned. Lila traced the map with her finger, noticing a tiny symbol shaped like a crescent moon etched into the bricks, almost imperceptible in the dim street light. She tapped the wall gently, and a small panel clicked open. Beyond it was a narrow passage, long forgotten and filled with the scent of damp stone and history. Carefully, she entered, her flashlight revealing walls lined with old lanterns and forgotten crates, stacked in orderly rows. It was as if someone had maintained this passage in secret, waiting for the right person to discover it. The passage led to an alley that wasn't on any modern map, a hidden street lined with houses that had been sealed off decades ago. Their windows were dusty, doors locked, yet faint signs of life remained. Footprints in the dust, a candle flicker behind one boarded-up window, and a scent of fresh paint mingled with aged wood. Someone had been here recently, maintaining the hidden enclave. Lila paused, taking careful notes. The metal map clearly indicated that this hidden street connected to other secret locations, a network of clandestine spaces, all tucked beneath Eldridge's visible streets. Each marked spot seemed deliberate, almost ceremonial, suggesting a purpose beyond mere secrecy. She noticed a small plaque beside a door at the end of the alley, a faded engraving of a clock with hands pointing to 1:13. The same number of chimes she had heard at the main clock tower. Her pulse quickened. Someone was using these hidden streets as part of a larger plan, and the clock tower's 13th toll was the signal. Lila carefully opened the door, revealing a room filled with old town records, scrolls, and bundles of letters. Among them was a journal, leather-bound and embossed with the initials, E.C., Eldridge's founding clockmaker, perhaps, or someone whose initials had been forgotten by history. She opened the journal and found meticulous notes, instructions on creating hidden routes, secret rendezvous points, and a warning about those who sought Eldridge's secrets recklessly. As Lila read, a sound behind her made her spin. Footsteps, light but deliberate, echoed along the hidden alley. She extinguished her flashlight briefly, pressing against the doorway. A shadow passed by, then paused, as if someone was aware she had discovered the passage. The journal fell open to a page marked with a symbol matching the one on the metal map. A series of letters was scrawled in tight handwriting. Those who follow the chimes will find the paths, but only patience and care reveal the heart of Eldridge. Trust the tower, but fear haste. Lila's mind raced. The map, the journal, the hidden streets, all pointed to a larger secret hidden at the heart of Eldridge. But someone was watching her. And as the fog thickened in the alley, she realized that every step forward would be scrutinized, and that danger, subtle, cunning, and unseen, had already begun to close in. Detective Lila Monroe has uncovered hidden streets and secret passages, but someone, or something, watches over Eldridge's clock tower. Now she must meet the keeper, a mysterious guardian with knowledge that could change everything. Detective Lila Monroe retraced her steps through the hidden alley, keeping the journal and metal map close to her chest. The fog swirled around the cobblestones, muffling the distant sounds of Eldridge waking for the day. Every sense was alert. She could feel the unseen eyes that had followed her through the secret streets. The metal map indicated a location at the very base of the clock tower, a room few knew existed. The entrance was cleverly concealed behind a panel near the eastern face of the tower, almost flush with the stonework. Lila found the latch easily and pushed open the hidden door. A narrow spiral staircase led upward, winding into darkness. With flashlight in hand, she ascended. The air grew colder, tinged with oil from the massive gears above. The ticking of the clock echoed like a heartbeat, steady yet hypnotic, each second punctuated by the faint hum of unseen machinery. Lila reached the top and entered the clockworks chamber. There, amidst the brass gears and swinging pendulum, stood a figure. Cloaked in a long coat with a hood shadowing their face, the figure turned slowly to greet her. "Detective Monroe," said a calm, measured voice. "I've been expecting you." "Who are you?" Lila asked, her voice firm. "And why are you watching the clock tower?" The figure stepped into the light, revealing an elderly man with piercing blue eyes and hands steady despite age. "I am the keeper of the tower," he said. "My role is simple: to guard Eldridge's history, its hidden streets, and the secrets the clock has carried for nearly a century." Lila raised an eyebrow. The clock? What could a clock possibly hide? The keeper gestured toward the massive gears and the intricate face of the tower. "Time is not just measured by hours, detective. The chimes carry messages. The 13th toll, the hidden streets, the encoded map. All were designed to guide those capable of seeing the town beyond its surface." He extended a small, carefully wrapped bundle. Lila unwrapped it and found a second map, more detailed than the metal one she had discovered earlier. It showed hidden compartments beneath buildings, tunnels connecting forgotten streets, and annotations in a hand she didn't recognize. The previous generations of Eldridge's custodians left this for someone they deemed worthy, the keeper said. The manuscript you found, the hidden streets, it all leads to a central truth about this town. But that truth is fragile. It must be revealed carefully, or chaos will follow. Lila studied the map. Symbols indicated the town square, the library, and several key buildings, all with secret compartments and passages linking them. She realized the scale of what she was dealing with. Eldridge had been designed like a puzzle, a living labyrinth, and she now held the master key. "Why me?" she asked, voice quieter now. "Why entrust all of this to a single detective?" The keeper smiled faintly. "Because, detective, you notice details others overlook. You respect history, and you understand patience. The town needs someone who can navigate the past without becoming lost in it. That is why you were chosen." Before Lila could ask more, a sudden creak from below the tower made both of them tense. Someone, or something, was moving within the hidden passages. The keeper's eyes narrowed. "It seems you are not the only one who has followed the chimes tonight. And not all who seek the truth come with good intentions. Detective Lila Monroe has met the keeper of the tower, but Eldridge's hidden streets are not as empty as they seem. Now, a signal from the clock tower itself begins a trail of clues that may lead her to the heart of the town's century-old secret." Detective Lila Monroe crouched beside the massive gears of the clock tower, her flashlight illuminating brass mechanisms that had ticked and talked for decades. The keeper stood nearby, alert to every shadow and echo in the chamber. Both of them had heard it, a faint tapping, deliberate, echoing from below. Someone had entered the hidden passages beneath the tower. "Stay close," the keeper murmured. "The tunnels are intricate, and not all who traverse them are friendly." Lila nodded, heart steady but alert. They descended the spiral staircase carefully, each creaking step magnified in the silence. As they reached the first landing of the hidden passage, the tapping repeated, 3 short, deliberate knocks. Lila recognized it instantly from her earlier research. It was a coded signal, like the ones the founders had used decades ago to communicate through hidden streets and secret rooms. Following the sound, they moved down the narrow corridor, walls damp and lined with old bricks. At a sharp corner, the keeper paused. "Here," he whispered, pressing a small panel embedded in the wall. The panel clicked open, revealing a compartment containing an old brass device, shaped like a miniature clock with a sliding pointer. "The first hidden signal," the keeper explained. "It was designed to guide someone who could understand its patterns. Watch closely." Lila examined the device. The pointer moved in subtle increments, as if guided by some unseen mechanism. A series of symbols, etched along its circumference, matched markings she had seen on the metal map and in the journal. Each movement corresponded to a direction in the hidden streets outside the tower. "It's a guide," Lila said softly, tracing the symbols with her finger. "A directional signal, leading to something the town's founders wanted preserved. And someone is activating it tonight." The tapping sounded again, 4 quick knocks, confirming her suspicion. Someone was following the same path, using the device as a guide, but Lila had no way of knowing their intentions. She carefully noted the pattern in her notebook. It indicated a location beneath the town square, near the old fountain long thought ornamental. They emerged from the hidden passage near the base of the tower, moving silently through the foggy square. The fountain's water glinted in the moonlight, but Lila noticed a subtle shimmer at its edge, a small panel concealed by ivy. She knelt, sliding the panel open to reveal a narrow stairway descending into darkness. "The first signal leads here," the keeper murmured. "Beyond this point lies the next stage of the founder's secret network. But caution, you are being watched." The chimes that struck 13 were not accidental. They are both warning and invitation. Lila took a deep breath. The metal map, the brass device, and the hidden streets had brought her here, yet a sense of anticipation mingled with unease. Every instinct told her that the truth of Eldridge was layered, complex, and far-reaching. As they prepared to descend the stairway, a shadow flickered across the fountain's surface, too deliberate to be mere moonlight. Lila froze. Someone else had arrived, drawn by the same signal. The hunt for Eldridge's hidden legacy had just intensified, and the next steps would determine whether the town's secrets remained safe, or fell into the wrong hands. Detective Lila Monroe descends into Eldridge's hidden labyrinth, a network of tunnels and secret rooms older than anyone alive. Each turn, Each symbol could either reveal the town's most cherished secrets, or lead her into danger. Detective Lila Monroe stepped carefully into the narrow stairway beneath the fountain, the stone steps slick with moisture. The keeper followed silently, his presence steady and reassuring. The air grew cooler, heavy with the scent of damp earth and aged brick. Each step seemed to echo, multiplied by the intricate network of passages that had lain hidden for decades. Lila consulted the metal map. Symbols indicated several hidden chambers along the labyrinth, each marked with subtle annotations she had not yet fully deciphered. The brass device she had found in the clock tower hummed faintly in her hands, its pointer twitching as if eager to guide her further. "This network, it's massive," Lila murmured. "I had no idea Eldridge had tunnels like this." "The founders built them for preservation," the keeper replied. "Records, artifacts, even escape routes. But the network serves another purpose. It tests the seeker. Only those attentive, patient, and respectful will navigate successfully." They passed a series of arched doorways, each sealed by age-old locks and cleverly hidden mechanisms. Lila traced her fingers along the walls, discovering subtle markings. A carved star here, a tiny crescent there, symbols repeated in the journal, the metal map, and even on the brass device. Each marking guided them, like breadcrumbs left across time. At the end of one corridor, a faint glow emerged through a narrow crack. Lila approached and found a hidden chamber, modest in size but filled with artifacts, old manuscripts, faded photographs, and letters tied with ribbon. Dust covered everything, yet it had been tended. Someone was maintaining this chamber. The keeper gestured toward the artifacts. "The first true test. These objects represent Eldridge's hidden history. Each one tells a story of the town's founders, their alliances, and the responsibilities passed to their successors. But note carefully. One object does not belong here. Its presence is deliberate, meant to challenge the seeker's judgment." Lila examined the items with care. Her eyes fell on a small, unassuming box tucked behind a stack of letters. Unlike the other objects, it bore no markings, no annotations, yet it hummed faintly, almost imperceptibly. She opened it slowly and discovered a series of tiny metal discs, etched with symbols similar to those on the brass device and metal map. "This is a key," Lila whispered. "Not to a door, but to the next stage of the network." The keeper nodded. "Correct. Each disc represents a location, a secret to be found, and a message to be understood. Follow them carefully, or you risk missing the town's central truth." Suddenly, a faint rustling echoed from a shadowed corridor. Lila's heart quickened. The tunnels, it seemed, were not empty. Someone else had entered the labyrinth, drawn by the same signals. Footsteps, light but deliberate, moved closer, and the keeper's eyes narrowed. Before Lila could react, a whisper echoed through the stone corridor. "I knew someone would come, but will they find the heart of Eldridge before it's too late?" The words faded, leaving an eerie silence. Lila realized that the labyrinth beneath Eldridge was not just a path to history. It was a puzzle, and time was running short. Detective Lila Monroe has entered Eldridge's labyrinth and uncovered its hidden chambers. Now, the secrets of the town's founders begin to reveal themselves. But some truths are dangerous, and not everyone wants them uncovered. Detective Lila Monroe carefully placed the metal discs she had found into her satchel. Each disc represented a hidden location marked on the brass device and the metal map. She studied them one by one, tracing the symbols with her fingers. The patterns were intricate, almost like a code within a code. The keeper of the tower moved beside her, silent and watchful. "The founders were meticulous," he said softly. "Every object, every symbol, every path you've discovered was designed with purpose. They wanted to preserve Eldridge's history while challenging the curiosity of those who might follow." Lila's gaze shifted to the manuscripts and letters in the chamber. Each document described the town's early days, but hidden among the entries were references to secret societies, guardians, and rituals meant to protect knowledge. One letter, written in 1892, spoke of the clock tower itself as more than a timekeeper. It was a beacon, a signal, a guide. "They used the clock tower to communicate across generations," Lila murmured. "The 13th chime, the brass device, it's all a way to guide the worthy." The keeper nodded. "Exactly. And now, you are part of that lineage, not by birth, but by diligence and respect for history." As Lila absorbed the information, Her attention was drawn to a larger manuscript tucked in the corner. Its cover was embossed with the initials of Eldridge's founding families. She opened it, revealing detailed instructions on preserving the town's hidden history, including maps of tunnels, secret rooms, and even the locations of letters left for future generations. One section stood out: a warning about outsiders. The founders had anticipated that not all who sought the town's secrets would act with honor. Some truths, the manuscript read, must remain veiled until the seeker proves worthy, for those who covet knowledge for power will find only peril. Lila glanced at the keeper. So someone else is in the labyrinth, she said, thinking of the footsteps she had heard in Part 5. They might not have good intentions. The keeper's expression darkened. Indeed, that is why I have guided you, but only you can ensure the town's legacy remains safe. The labyrinth tests not just intellect, but character. Lila felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Eldridge's history was no longer a passive story. It was a living network of signals, paths, and guardians. She realized the founders had created a system to reward careful observation, patience, and respect, and to punish recklessness. Carefully, she studied the metal discs again, realizing they formed a sequence. Locations across the town that held pieces of the ultimate secret. Each disc led to the next, creating a trail that, if followed correctly, would reveal the heart of Eldridge's hidden history. The keeper placed a hand on her shoulder. There is one location you must reach before dawn, he said. It contains the founder's final message and the key to the town's legacy. But beware, the labyrinth is watched. Others are moving tonight. Lila looked toward the shadowed corridors of the labyrinth, her resolve hardening. Outside, the fog of Eldridge stirred, and distant chimes echoed faintly. Someone was following the same path. She knew that the secrets of the founders would not reveal themselves easily, and that the next steps might determine not just her success, but the fate of the town itself. Detective Lila Monroe follows the founders' trail deeper into Eldridge's labyrinth, arriving at a hidden vault where the town's most valuable secrets await. But guarding history has always come with danger, and someone is close behind. Detective Lila Monroe navigated the winding corridors beneath Eldridge, guided by the metal discs and the brass device. Each turn seemed familiar from the maps, yet the labyrinth remained disorienting, its twists and hidden chambers testing her patience and memory. The keeper followed closely, his footsteps silent on the damp stone. This vault, he said, was built to preserve what the founders deemed most precious. Only those who respect their design can gain entry. Lila's eyes scanned the walls as they approached a massive door, almost seamlessly integrated into the stone. It bore intricate carvings, the intertwined initials of Eldridge's founding families, along with symbols that matched the metal discs. A combination of gears and levers formed the lock, precise and deliberate, requiring both intellect and intuition to open. This must be it, Lila whispered, examining the mechanism. She aligned the symbols according to the sequence dictated by the discs, each click echoing through the chamber. When the final lever fell into place, the vault door swung open with a muted groan, revealing a room bathed in faint golden light. Inside were shelves of documents, carefully preserved books, and artifacts wrapped in protective cloth. At the center of the vault sat a wooden chest, its surface worn smooth by decades of handling. Lila approached it cautiously, sensing the weight of history in the air. The keeper gestured. The chest holds the founder's final message. Everything else, the maps, manuscripts, and letters, are guides, breadcrumbs to prepare you for this moment. Lila carefully lifted the chest lid. Inside were more journals, letters, and a small, intricately carved key identical to one she had seen in the clocktower. The letters detailed the town's history, the founders' intentions, and instructions for safeguarding the knowledge. One passage caught her eye. The heart of Eldridge is not a building or an object, but the understanding of its past and the vigilance of its guardians. Only those who honor both may preserve our legacy. As she absorbed the words, a faint sound reached her ears, the echo of footsteps. Lila froze. The labyrinth was vast, yet the sound came from somewhere close. Someone else was inside. The keeper's eyes narrowed. You've been followed. Someone else knows about the vault and seeks what should not be disturbed. You must act with caution. Lila closed the chest and secured the documents. She studied the vault again, noting secret compartments and additional symbols etched into the walls. They were designed for someone observant, just as the journal had instructed. Suddenly, the faint rustling grew louder. Shadows shifted near the doorway. Lila's pulse quickened, but she remained calm, signaling to the keeper. He moved silently toward a side exit, leaving her a clear path to retreat if necessary. Lila took a deep breath and stepped forward, preparing for confrontation. Whoever had followed her into the labyrinth intended to claim the town's secrets, and they would not hesitate to act. The balance between safeguarding history and confronting intruders would determine whether Eldridge's legacy remained intact. A shadow emerged from the corridor, and Lila recognized the figure. Someone from the town, someone she had thought trustworthy. Their eyes gleamed with purpose, and in a voice low and measured, they said, "I've been waiting for this moment, Detective. Now, the secrets of Eldridge belong to me." Detective Lila Monroe faces betrayal and danger in Eldridge's hidden vault. With the town's secrets at stake, she must solve the Founder's final puzzle before it falls into the wrong hands. Detective Lila Monroe's heart raced as she confronted the shadowed figure in the vault. The intruder's presence was deliberate, calculated, someone who had studied the labyrinth and the signals just as she had. But unlike Lila, this person sought the secrets for personal gain, not preservation. "Step away from the chest," Lila said firmly, her hand brushing the brass device in her satchel. She knew the symbols and discs could provide guidance if she remained calm and observant. The figure smirked. "Detective, I've waited for decades for someone to reach this vault. The Founders intended for these secrets to be taken, not safeguarded. And tonight, I intend to claim them." Lila scanned the room. The wooden chest contained journals and letters. Hidden compartments lined the walls. One compartment, marked subtly with an intricate star, seemed untouched. Her intuition told her it was the key to solving the puzzle. The intruder moved closer, but Lila acted quickly. She retrieved a metal disc and aligned it with the markings on the brass device, causing a faint click and revealing the hidden star-shaped compartment. Inside, she discovered a folded parchment, a coded map detailing the final route through Eldridge's hidden streets. "The final puzzle," she whispered. "The Founders designed this to test the Seeker's understanding, not just their courage." The intruder lunged for the parchment, but Lila stepped aside, holding the disc like a shield. "You don't understand," she said. "The labyrinth isn't just tunnels and maps. It's about respect, patience, and seeing the town as the Founders intended. Take it without understanding, and you'll never unlock its true meaning." For a moment, the intruder hesitated, studying Lila's expression. The vault seemed alive with the echoes of the past, the Founders' wisdom embedded in every brick, every gear, every symbol. Lila continued carefully, following the coded map with the brass device in hand. The hidden streets outside the vault led to the town square, where the old fountain's secret stairway opened into a chamber beneath the cobblestones. The intruder followed, but Lila's knowledge of the sequences and symbols allowed her to navigate the path flawlessly. The chamber beneath the fountain contained a single pedestal, atop which rested a small, intricately carved box. Symbols matched those on the brass device and the metal discs, confirming that this was the Founder's ultimate message. Lila inserted a disc into the box's carved slot, and with a soft click, it opened. Inside were letters, journals, and a sealed envelope addressed to the Guardian of Eldridge. The instructions were clear. The recipient was to preserve the town's history, protect its secrets, and ensure the legacy remained intact for future generations. The intruder reached the pedestal, but Lila stepped forward decisively. "This isn't yours," she said. "The Founders didn't leave these secrets for selfish gain. They left them for those who understand their responsibility." The intruder's expression hardened. "Then you'll never leave this labyrinth alive," they hissed, and the chamber seemed to grow smaller, the walls echoing with tension. Lila realized that the final challenge was not the puzzle itself, but confronting the threat that had followed her from the shadows. Detective Lila Monroe has solved the Founder's puzzle, but now the true test begins. Protecting Eldridge's legacy from those who would seize it. In the labyrinth beneath the town, choices will define the future. Detective Lila Monroe stood before the intruder, the pedestal with the carved box between them. Her pulse thumped steadily in her ears. Every instinct told her that the labyrinth's greatest challenge wasn't the hidden paths, the maps, or the symbols. It was the confrontation she now faced. The intruder's eyes gleamed with ambition, their hand hovering over the box. "Step aside, detective," they said. "You've had your fun solving riddles, but the town's secrets belong to me." Lila's mind raced. She remembered the keeper's words. Only those who honor both history and vigilance may preserve Eldridge's legacy. It was a responsibility, not a prize. And failure meant the town's secrets could be lost forever or, worse, misused. Carefully, she slid a disc into the brass device, aligning it with the markings on the pedestal. A soft click echoed through the chamber, and a hidden mechanism revealed a secondary compartment in the box. Inside lay a small key and another letter. Lila read aloud. "The Guardian must decide. To preserve is to protect, not to dominate. The legacy is entrusted to those who serve the town, not themselves." The intruder's expression faltered, a flicker of uncertainty crossing their face. "You can't stop me," they said, though their voice wavered. Lila took a deep breath, stepping closer to the pedestal. "You misunderstand the Founder's intent," she said. "This isn't about power. It's about responsibility. Whoever holds these secrets must ensure the town's history survives without exploitation. And I intend to honor that." The intruder's hand twitched toward the box, but Lila acted quickly. She inserted the key into a hidden slot on the box's side, activating a locking mechanism that secured both compartments. The letters, discs, and journals shifted within, protected from anyone attempting to claim them recklessly. "You see," Lila said, "the Founders designed this so that only someone who understands preservation could succeed. The labyrinth tests character, not courage alone." The intruder stepped back, realizing their efforts were thwarted. "Then, what now?" they asked, frustration and admiration mingling in their tone. "The Keeper will decide your fate," Lila replied. She retrieved the brass device and the remaining discs, carefully placing them in her satchel. "My role is to ensure the town's legacy is safe. Beyond that, it's in the hands of Eldridge's guardians, those who have devoted themselves to its history and preservation." The intruder hesitated, then turned, retreating into the hidden passages. Lila exhaled, her muscles relaxing slightly. The labyrinth had tested her, challenged her, and now, she had proven worthy of the responsibility entrusted to her. She took a moment to study the hidden chamber. The journals, letters, and artifacts told stories spanning generations. The founding family's alliances, their vigilance, and their careful planning. Lila understood that the town's legacy was more than history. It was a living testament to foresight, patience, and dedication. As the first rays of dawn filtered into the labyrinth, she made her way back to the stairway, knowing that the knowledge she had preserved tonight would shape Eldridge for decades to come. The clock tower above chimed softly, almost approvingly, a reminder of the connection between past and present. Before ascending fully, Lila paused and glanced back at the labyrinth's shadowed corridors. Somewhere in the tunnels, someone still watched. The town's secrets were safe, for now. But in Eldridge, vigilance was never complete. The final choice had been made, yet the echoes of history would continue to whisper. Detective Lila Monroe has navigated hidden streets, solved cryptic puzzles, and confronted ambition in the shadows. Now, the legacy of Eldridge rests in her hands, and the town's history will either endure or vanish forever. Detective Lila Monroe climbed the final steps of the hidden stairway beneath Eldridge's town square. The first morning light spilled over the cobblestones, casting long shadows across the square. The fountain glistened with dew, peaceful as if nothing unusual had happened, yet Lila knew otherwise. She carried the journals, letters, brass device, and discs, each a tangible piece of a century-old legacy. The keeper of the tower awaited her near the clock tower. His expression was calm, though his eyes held the weight of experience. "You've done well, detective," he said. "Eldridge's secrets are preserved because of your diligence, patience, and respect. Few could have succeeded where you have." Lila glanced at the metal discs, still warm from the journey through the hidden labyrinth. "It wasn't easy," she admitted. "The labyrinth tests everything: intellect, observation, and character. But it's more than a puzzle. The town itself feels alive, guiding those who listen carefully." The keeper nodded. The founders intended it to be just that. Eldridge's history is a living network. Its preservation requires vigilance, but also understanding. The labyrinth is not merely a path to knowledge, it is a lesson in responsibility. Lila looked toward the clock tower. Its chimes had returned to normal, each toll steady and measured, yet in her mind, she could still hear the faint echo of that 13th strike. That sound, she realized, had been a call, a summons to honor history and to rise to the challenge. Will others come? She asked quietly. Seekers who might not understand the responsibility. They will, the keeper replied. And the labyrinth will continue to test them. But the town has its guardians. You are now among them. Lila felt a quiet pride. The hidden streets, the secret chambers, the brass device, and the coded discs, they were not merely relics of the past. They were tools, lessons, and symbols of a legacy that demanded care and attention. She understood, fully, that being a guardian meant more than discovery. It meant stewardship, patience, and constant vigilance. She took one last look at the town square, imagining the hidden paths beneath her feet, the secret rooms preserved for generations, and the founder's wisdom etched into every wall and symbol. Eldridge's heartbeat, quiet, persistent, and deliberate, seemed to echo through her own, connecting past and present. The keeper placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. The labyrinth will remain, the chimes will continue, and Eldridge will endure, as long as its guardians honor the trust placed in them. A soft breeze stirred the fountain's water, and for a moment, Lila imagined the shadows of those who had walked the hidden streets before her. Founders, caretakers, and seekers who had preserved the town's history through the ages. Their whispers were faint but clear, echoing a single message: vigilance, respect, and understanding above all else. Detective Monroe carefully returned the journals and maps to a secure vault within the clock tower, ensuring that only those worthy would access them in the future. She had navigated danger, solved the founder's puzzles, and safeguarded a legacy older than most could imagine. Eldridge's history, its hidden streets, and the secrets of the labyrinth would continue to thrive, preserved by those who honored the past. As she descended the tower and walked through the morning streets, the town seemed ordinary once more. Yet beneath its cobblestones, in hidden chambers and shadowed alleys, Eldridge's heartbeat continued, steady, guarded, and eternal. And Detective Lila Monroe, now a true guardian of the town, knew that the whispers of the past would guide its future, one careful step at a time. The clock tower chimed noon, perfectly on time. But for Lila, and for the history she protected, the echoes of Eldridge's secrets would never truly end.